Hello and welcome. I'm Vincent Makori and this is Africa 54. Tonight we begin in Central Africa where drones will monitor the Democratic Republic of Congo's borders with Rwanda and Uganda and the first ever use of surveillance drones by a United Nations peacekeeping force. The unmanned aircraft will be used to look out for threats from numerous local and foreign armed groups in the mineral-rich east of DRC. Congo and UN experts have accused Rwanda and Uganda of sending arms and troops to back the recently defeated M23 rebels, something both countries deny. UN Under-Secretary General for Peacekeeping Operations, Have Latzouz, was at the launch of the drones in Goma, the largest city in eastern Congo.
These drones are tasked with monitoring the delicate region of the Kivu provinces where there are problems with armed groups.
The drones were due to be launched as early as September in the hope of monitoring the conflict taking place on the border. However, delays meant they arrived only after UN peacekeepers helped defeat M23 early November. The group was the most serious rebellion of President Joseph Kabila's 12-year rule. Still, DRC officials welcomed the drones. Alexandre Luban-Tambo is DRC's Minister of Defense.
There are armed groups that don't have uniforms and are active within the population. I think that these drones will make an important contribution on this matter.
The drones can fly for between 8 and 14 hours and as far as 200 kilometers from their base. They are a big boost to UN peacekeepers who have received widespread criticism for doing too little to end fighting in eastern Congo. The Kinshasa government has struggled to control the hilly and thickly forested region during 2 decades of virtually constant conflict. While a final political deal with M23 is still being ironed out, Congolese and UN forces are now expected to turn their attention to the Rwandan and Ugandan rebel groups, both of which are based in Congo's east. Well, for more on drones, I'm joined by VOA's Pam Dockins. Welcome, Pam, to Africa 54.
Thank you.
Now, first, most would want to know, how will these drones be used in this particular region? How do they operate?
Well, Vincent, these are unarmed surveillance drones. They're going to be used to gather intelligence about rebel groups in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The UN peacekeeping mission launched 2 of the drones this week. 3 more are going to be launched in the coming months. The drones were made in Italy. They can hover over an area for 10 to 12 hours, and they can be used to gather additional information and provide it to commanders who are trying to direct ground forces. The UN has an intervention brigade in the DRC that has about 3,000 troops, and this group is assisting the Congolese army as it goes after the rebel groups.
What really are the most advantages of drones as opposed to other methods of surveillance?
Well, the drones will allow UN commanders to combine information in flight with information gathered by forces on the ground. One UN official says the drones will be used to track the movement of rebel groups, but also of displaced civilians. And the DRC is, of course, a vast, rugged region, and the UN says that the drones will allow them to have equipment that will make it possible to see people in heavily forested areas.
Which Congo, DRC is, but it's not always advantageous. There are obviously some disadvantages to using drones. What are some of those?
Absolutely. I spoke to an analyst who said that there were several possible limitations. He said the UN has a relatively small number of drones to cover an area as vast as the DRC. He noted that the drones will need maintenance, they will need to refuel, and they will have limited visibility in some areas. He said that any expectations that the drones will automatically increase the safety of civilians would be unrealistic.
You know, for those who fear that, drones are about dropping bombs, perhaps in civilian, heavily populated areas, what do the officials say?
The officials say that these will be unarmed drones. They will be used to watch movement of rebel groups and also watch displaced civilians. They say that these will not be drones that are armed with any type of weapon.
Okay. Any information a little bit about really how, big and visible they are when they're in such a place as the forested areas of Congo?
Well, right now the focus will be in the eastern DRC where rebel groups have been active, and the drones will assist the Congolese forces as well as the UN peacekeepers who've been trying to root out some of the rebels in that region.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Pam. Okay. Pam Dockins, the Voice of America, thank you for insights.